Y'all, hope you had a terrific holiday, Christmas with your friends, family. It was great for me. Being in the military, 18 years at sea for shore duty, got to spend it with my family, so it was awesome. Shout out to all those overseas protecting our freedoms and allowing us to do things like this. But let's talk about the Pokemon market, not for Pokejacks, and kind of where I stand with 2026. So, but the market's weird right now. So I got these Gladius EX boxes. Probably not a huge item. Stuff from distro, right? And it's not getting touched. Now, what I see in my analytics in Wix is like, hey, people are getting to the cart, getting ready to check out, and they never check out. Now, with Wix, I do have a pretty, so that might be the problem. But some folks have reached out to me. I'll send them an invoice. We'll get it squared away. I send my, my fax answer question portion. Hey, if you can't check out, please contact me. That tight-knit security process was put in place because of a possible, I'm going to say probably, it was a scam trying to get me when I first launched the website with Wix, where they pretty much purchased everything from a website, but when I looked at the address up, it didn't make sense. It was like some shipping logistic place in Oregon, and nothing made sense, so I canceled it. And then they tried to purchase multiple credit cards. So, I contacted Wix. They built a more aggressive checkout process, so that might be part of the problem. The other thing I'm thinking is shipping. So, I do flat rate shipping. I try to do it as fair as possible. Shipping is a thing. It's not, if I can do free, I'll do free. I do that for a lot of the binders and stuff, because I look at the MSRP and I look at what I get it for. I'll ship it, maybe make a couple bucks or break even. Don't care, because the binders and all that stuff, I just, anything I sell pretty much goes back into the business to keep building that spin history with distribution. But I think maybe that might be killing some of my sales, because if these Gladius boxes are $19.99, I've been charging a flat rate. I think either 8 or 10. Don't quote me. I got to look at it. But they're not moving. So something I've done now, or pretty much before I did this video, I weighed everything, remeasured everything, and trying to calculate shipping costs at a fair average between either Florida, California, Florida, Oregon, Florida, wherever, just to try to make it make sense. And if I lose a couple cents or $1 or $2 for shipping, big deal. The goal for me right now is just, hey, break even, make a couple dollars, whatever, as long as it goes back to buying items from distribution and continue building that spin history. The goal is to be able to get more Pokemon TCG through my distribution, ACD. That I can get Pokemon, I can get Cookie Run, I can get Weiss, I can get some other stuff like World Tanks, Fight Card Vanguard. That's about the limitations of where I'm at. I can't get anything else because I don't have a Play Store or physical business. So, but yeah, just trying to be able to get more Pokemon. The Nikki Girls did really good for me. Even some of the binders, they might not sell on the website, but if I look at TCG Player, and I do this quite frequently, I'll look at TCG Player with binders, or certain binders are currently selling at, and if I'm going to break even or make a couple of bucks, I'll buy those binders. I'll put a couple on the site, and if those don't move, I'll switch it right back over to TCG Player. Yep, I lose 12%, and I'm level 4, so I don't charge shipping to make it balanced. So either I'll break even, make $2, $3, or I'll lose $2 or $3. Whatever the case, inventory moves and continue going into spin history distribution. Like I said, 80K, started this in March of 25. Here we're coming into the end of 25 and moving to 2026. Predominantly Japanese and Korean simplified Chinese products. I'm going to continue buying Japanese products and Korean products, as it makes sense, right? 15% tariff. So you got to pay an admin fee. Does the market match with the price you're paying for? And can you move it at that price? That's always the question, right? I try to get all my, Japanese products below market, at least $5, $10. That's my goal. And then either some of it, I can offer free shipping. Some of it can't. Like the 100, the new Pokemon decks that came out, the 100 collection decks, I was selling for 40. I was offering free shipping. Even with the free shipping, depending where it goes, I was pocketing maybe $5. Now, yep, tracking. Like Japan, retail $6, right? I wish I can get those for $6, but I don't. So I will say that majority of the Japanese suppliers I've looked at, they're either 2xing or 3xing at $6. So you're looking at, I would say 2xing. They're 3x and 4x, and you're looking at between $18 and $24. And add 50% tariff, add shipping, add admin. You gotta buy enough that you break even or you make money, right? So luckily, I've made money. I've made, even with the free shipping, maybe $5 a box, which, hey, goes to distribution. Like I said, everything goes to spend history, paying the credit card, just keeping that credit card low, so I don't have a lot of, leverage. That's the goal. Keep leverage as low as possible. From distro, nothing's moving. Distribution, will it sell? Right? Because it seems like people are hopping from the One Piece over to One Piece. Yu-Gi-Oh's got something coming out. Digimon, TCG's all over the place. I hear Rudy and a bunch of other people talking about is it shoe buying bros or the investment bros. They're bouncing all over the place. So who knows? I'm gonna stick to Pokemon. I don't have access to One Piece. I've asked distribution. Hey, are you gonna get Bandai products like TCG wise, because they do have Bandai products. Like I got the still nothing on that. But yeah, it's just very weird. So am I going into 2026 in uncharted territory with Pokemon TCG? Maybe I need to build my marketing up more. Like I said, I'm just some Joe Schmo on the internet talking. Nobody cares. I haven't built that brand yet, and I think that was my biggest mistake in 2025 was not building a brand. I think that's critical, so people know who you are. I think TCG players help me because I see a lot of either returning customers on TCG player, or they have transitioned to my website and they realize, oh shit, this dude is selling it way cheaper on his website than I'm buying on TCG player. Hey, to each his own. Like I said, I'm going to play the game. You're going to buy it expensive on TCG player because, hey, we'll take a 12% hit and free shipping. You come to 904 Pokejacks, you pay way less. Even with shipping, you're still paying less after taxes. So you do the math. I'll leave it as that. But yeah, that's kind of it. Just kind of a little ramble. Coming off the holiday. I haven't posted a lot. This has just been thinking, like, am I doing the right thing? I contemplate this every single day. Am I doing the right thing? I get very worried and nervous because I don't want to create too much leverage. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Appreciate you guys subscribing and following, and I'm going to keep on keeping on. See where 2026 takes us. Y'all have a good one. 904 Jacks out.